Well, hello and welcome, everybody. Welcome. My name is Kondo, and we are here for another exciting session at Connect Ed Tech series. My name is Tandiwe Gondo, and I'm going to be your host for today. And we are thrilled for you to join us in this conversation that we have that sits right in the intersection of global opportunity, African excellence, and youth empowerment. So if you're here, please make sure you're logged into our page. If your friend is not here, please tell a friend to tell a friend because today it is about to go down. So I'll just give you another minute, share this link, say send a text to your friend because we are about to start the session where we have an amazing speaker who's going to be talking about building a winning profile. So get ready, buckle up for today is going to be an amazing session. So as we do that, we want to explain who we are. As I explained, my name is Tandiwe, and I'm representing a company called Connect EdTech. And most of the people might ask, who is Connect? What is Connect? So do allow me to share that with you as we start our presentation. So at Connect, our mission is a simple but bold one. We are here to help students get the right education and find the right jobs by showing them what skills are needed in the real world. We connect students with universities, funding, careers, so that you can build a better and brighter future. So, Connect is basically like your smart bridge that connects you to all the ecosystems that we have from students, universities, employers, and governments. So we are coming to work together to prepare the youth and the young people for you to be future ready with your jobs. So in our ecosystem, the main one we have is our beloved students. The students here, we are here to help you discover your careers to make sure that it matches with your strengths and interests. We guide you to choose the right paths and universities, as well as help you with scholarships and job opportunities in one place. Moving on our other part of our ecosystem, we have our universities and colleges. At this part, we are saying we want to come in as Connect to help you design courses to teach skills that are relevant for the employers of what employers really want. We are here to also help you with data on what kind of jobs are on demand so that when graduates are ready for the real world, you are able to take them there and take them the next step into the real world. On our ecosystem, we also deal with the employers and the industry because these are extremely important for our graduates. We need to make sure that we help you get the skilled graduates that are going to take your company to the next level. We allow to share the skills that you're looking for so that we can be able to link it up and make sure that education is also staying up to date. Lastly, on our ecosystem, we have our governments and our policymakers. We want to support governments in terms of planning, in terms of the future workforce, make sure that they provide the right insights to shape educational policies and training programs. These all four are part of our ecosystem at Connect. And if you are anyone and any part of this pillar, please feel free to reach out to us so that we can make sure that we bring value to the table and we are able to make sure that we have better students, better employers, better employees at the end of the day. We are here to connect these groups to make sure that we are giving real opportunities for students and the real world. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I am extremely excited. I'm extremely excited to talk about who we have in the room. Ladies and gentlemen, you are here for a treat. I promise you. If your friend is not yet here, this is the time. This is the time to call them to tell them we are about to start our session. So today we have a very beautiful lady, a very beautiful friend of ours, introducing to you Twaambo Kayombo. She is joining us today as she perfectly embodies what it means to lead with purpose. Twaambo is a Zambian diplomat based in Malaysia, but she is more than that. She is a passionate mentor, a vocal advocate for the African youth, and the visionary behind an organization called Guiding Lights, which is a new initiative focused to helping young Africans navigate their personal and professional journeys with clarity and confidence. Hello, Madam Tambo, can you hear me?
Yes, now I can. You had gone mute for some time, but now I think you're back.
Hello?
Can you hear me? Hi, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Your line is muted, Tendai. If you're
Hi,
speaking,
Madam Twaambo, how are you doing?
hi, how are you?
Good. My apologies. I think Tandy is facing a technical glitch, and I think she should be joining soon.
No problem.
Yes, I think while we wait for her, maybe we just give you maybe just about a minute or two while she's sorting it out. Maybe to just introduce yourself, let the audience know who Madam Twaambo is, and yeah, exactly.
Thank you, Tendai. It's always a difficult question when somebody asks me to introduce myself because I don't know where to start from. But nonetheless, I will just say a little bit about who Twaambo is. In a nutshell, Twaambo is a wife, Twaambo is a mother, a boy mom, by the way. I always want to mention that. And I have a master's in business administration under the University of Lusaka. Thereafter, I have a Bachelor of Arts degree in marketing from Greenwich University. I also have a professional diploma in marketing and the Zambia Institute of Marketing at Evelyn Horn College in Lusaka. And I also have a professional certificate in digital marketing, actually under Marketing Association of Zimbabwe. So you know how much I'm attached to the Zimbos. And I also have a certificate of diplomatic protocol practice, as well as public relations. And of course, a grade 12 certificate. And I was somewhere in a boarding school in Zambia. Away from that, career-wise, I started out as a marketing executive under Diamond Insurance. If I'm not mistaken, Diamond Insurance is a Zimbabwean company, but now it has been rebranded to Swan Insurance. Thereafter, I moved to Zamtel, where I held a couple of hats there. I started out as a revenue specialist. I moved to media. I went to segments. I did brand and communications. I did events, as well as media buying. Then thereafter, I moved to the bank. I switched industries from telecoms. I went to the bank. There, I held the position of brand and digital marketing manager at Kavmont Bank until at a time when it moved to Access Bank. And then after that, I went to agriculture, which is a Sitco. There, I worked for about a couple of few months as a digital specialist. And then here we are. This is the last stop that I have been. But before that, I held two board positions under Zambia Institute of Marketing. I was the vice publicity secretary at a time I was leaving before I was appointed. And I was also holding the board member, and that I was director of corporate communications under one of the chamber and commerce industry, which is Kafue Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Then I moved here to Malaysia after I was appointed as the diplomat, and this is where I am right now. And I'm heavily involved with the Institute of Marketing Malaysia as the ex-officio at the council. That is, in a nutshell, who Twaambo is.
Wow, wow, that's a very impressive CV. I think today we are really in for a good treat. It looks like Tandy is back. And yeah, Tandy, you can take over.
Yes, thank you so much. Apologies on the technical glitch. Well, this is the current world we live in, right? Sometimes we face these challenges, but we know what? We keep moving, we keep striding, and we keep going. Lovely, lovely. Thank you so much, Twaambo, for sharing a bit about your journey and where you're coming from. But I'm curious, I'm so curious to actually learn to ask, was becoming a diplomat something you actually planned to do? Was it something that you woke up when you were like, I don't know, when you're 5 years old, you're like, you know what, mom, one day, if the world is going to see me and I'm going to be that diplomat, was that something that you had on your end?
I've always planned to be a president one day. When I was 5 years, I used to tell myself, I'm going to be a president one day. So that is the
Okay.
dream that I've. But a diplomat, I never thought of it. I never thought of it until at a time when I think I did, when I moved industries from telecoms, and then because telecoms, I think that is where I started building my career. Well, insurance, yes, I started out as a marketing executive, and from there, about, you know how it is when you're just coming from school, you just finished your diploma, your degree, and then you just found yourself a job, and then for you, you're just excited because you're just happy to be there. You know what I mean? So for you right now, at the moment, you just want to get paid, and then you want to do your hair, you want to do your nails, and then if there are kids around, and that's it. So I never really thought of the career trajectory and where it would land me at the time until I did about 5 years, 9 months at the Zambia Telecommunications Company, where I had to hold so many hats because I moved from one section to the other. And then I loved the experience, the fact that I think I was learning a lot, and it made me a well-rounded marketer. And because of the passion I have for marketing, so for me, when I was being moved from one segment to the other, I did brand communications, I did PR, I did revenue, I had to know my numbers, of course, and then the rest of it, media buying and so on and so forth. So for me, I think that is the time now. A bit of just some wisdom started getting into me and said, okay, Twaambo, I think you are headed somewhere, except you don't know where, because right now the template is not yet made. But in the near future, you need to start thinking of first going back to school if you have to do your masters. And then thereafter, you never know. You have to be prepared for the opportunity, because when the opportunity comes, you don't know where exactly it will land you. So you always have to prepare yourself. Then when I got to the bank, I was handling the brand communications team, and being the marketing manager, I was at the helm of the whole marketing there. And then it was at a time now I had to also get into school and started doing my master's. The
Okay.
masters that I did at Unilas, I think, sort of opened up my whole scenario of seeing life the way it is at the moment. And at the time, you know how it is now. I had to break away completely from marketing, and I got into the business masters of business administration. So it meant that I had to juggle in. I had to do procurement. I had to do HR. I had to do finance. I had to do mathematics and the rest of the subjects. And now, when I was doing all those courses that I was doing, I was now learning to say, okay, so from the HR lenses, this is how they look at things. From the finance point of
Okay.
view, this is how they look at things. And now I started getting into the fact that, okay, I think now, Twaambo, the template of your life is being made. So you need to focus and see how best you can just navigate throughout. But being a diplomat, I never thought of it. For me, probably chief marketing officer, CEO, or something like that. You know how it is, how we just think locally. For myself, I think at a time. But yeah, until at a time when it was 2022, and then I got the letter, and then I was like, oh, okay, now here we are. And thankfully, I was already prepared for it.
All right. Awesome. No, that totally makes sense. Which actually just leads us straight into the kind of questions we have today. We said we are here, we want to build the African youth, right? We want to take people to the next level, whether they're in their educational level, whether they are in their professional level. It's always important to have a profile that is distinct, a profile that is actually ready for you for the marketplace. So you spoke about opportunities and the different opportunities that you were having, right? And I would want to find out, Twaambo, as a Zambian diplomat, you've been working in Malaysia and you probably worked in different parts of the world, right? What unique opportunities have you observed for African students in the diaspora? And how can they best position themselves? Like you kind of alluded that with your own journey, but now I want to see, okay, I'm a student right now. I'm listening to you. I'm like, wow, come on, you're a diplomat. You're up there. You don't understand what's happening on the grassroots level, but you were there before, right? It was a journey. That's why we asked you to share the journey so that people get to realize that, okay, you just didn't wake up sitting in that office, right? So, what kind of unique opportunities have you observed for African students out there?
Okay, thank you, Tandy, for that question. And in most cases, when you are in the diaspora, I think the first thing, especially for the African students, I'll speak on the African students because this is something that I can relate with. This is something that I had seen, and this is something that we deal with almost on a daily basis. I will speak through what I feel. Some of the unique opportunities that we have as students. Well, some students do have here. The first thing that I think I can speak to is the exposure to global networks. Okay, global networks, academic resources, and
Mhm.
also just some intercultural environments. What do I mean by this? I just mentioned that when I came here, I quickly got into because I'm a marketing person, I'm a marketer by profession. So when you get here, first of all, you have to start thinking, where exactly am I going to find my fit? Okay, there's
Right.
some Institute of Marketing Malaysia. Let me get through it. And the same way Institute of Marketing Malaysia operates is exactly what we have back home in Zambia. So if you know exactly what is going on in your country, you need
Mhm.
to also find out what is there currently and what is working. For instance, back home in Zambia, we do have the Zambia Institute of Marketing, and under Zambia Institute of Marketing, we do have different chapters for the students. So we have the Copperbelt University chapter. In each university, if I'm not mistaken, we should have some students chapters. So now the thing is, when you get here, you know that back home, these are some of the initiatives that are back home. So when you get here, you quickly find out exactly, do we still have any of these institutions or chapters that I can quickly get into myself? Let me find a global network that I can get into, and then try and see how best you can make use of that, and you can make the best out of it. So global networks, these are some of the things when you get into the diaspora, African students, please do not shy away. Get into these global networks because they will help you a great deal. Academic resources, find out who is doing what and where. Go there, and also you need to learn their culture. Each country has its own culture. You have, for instance, here in Malaysia, this is a Muslim country. You need to learn their culture. You need to know the do's and the don'ts so that at least you are able to blend in. Okay, so that is the first thing that I'm going to talk about, which is some exposure to global networks. The second one, you have to find out whether
Okay.
there's some access to scholarships. Are there any scholarships? So before you even start off from wherever you're coming from, you need to find out where I'm going. Do we have any scholarships? Do we have any internships? And also even some sort of mentorship initiatives. I know some of these schools do have some career guidance and also mentorship initiatives. Find out, dig deep, do some research of it because many of which can go untapped due to lack of information. Maybe because you do not have information around it, or maybe you're just fear of rejection. So you need to understand exactly what is it
Yeah.
that I can tap into. Is it scholarships? Is it internships? Is it mentorships? So mentorship initiatives. So those are some of the things that you can tap into as well. And then just on that point, I can also make mention that you as a student, you have to be proactive. Opportunities will not come to you. You have to follow opportunities. Okay. You need to show up where you can. Okay. You need to ask questions. You can also do some pro bono jobs, some volunteering. There's no harm that you can volunteer. Tanti, if I remember correctly, I think at a time
Right.
when you, yeah, when you came to, when I met you, you were volunteering, I think, at the Zambia Institute, I mean, at the Zimbabwe booth, at the Zimbabwe booth. You were Zimbabwean
Right.
and you were here in Malaysia. And then you came and tried to volunteer to do some of the things. You were giving out flyers, you were doing ABCD. And in that way, what that happens is the tourism people, or even whether you're in marketing or whichever discipline that you're in, and then people will be like, oh, who is that girl? And and so if there are opportunities now, they'll be like, oh, there's this girl that can do ABCD. And that's how you tap into those opportunities.
No, that makes total sense. I think it's about positioning yourself, right? Be in the
Mm,
spaces, the places you spoke about, being in places of mentorship, being in places of getting yourself known. Like, thank you for giving that example. When we first met, I actually was volunteering at that booth and got
mm,
to meet. So imagine the kind of opportunities that come by. And before we even proceed, I'm actually curious with the kind of crowd that we have. I want to understand what kind of challenges, right, that people face, because people are like, how do I stand out? How do I'm not maybe the same character like Tandy or Twaambo, but how do I make sure that my profile is unique and standing out? So as we're speaking right now, I'm gonna get a poll to be sent into the chat. So guys, as you're listening, I want you to just take a quick look at our poll, and it goes like, what is your biggest challenge in building a standout profile? What is it that you're facing? What kind of challenges do you encounter? And is it a lack of opportunities like we just spoke about right now? Are you not in access of any global opportunities? Could that be the cause? Could it be unclear career goals and you're not too sure what's your plan, how to navigate, what you need to do in the next 5 years? Could it be maybe perhaps limited mentorship or guidance? And you're like, but I don't have the people around me. I can't access all these big guys and the big people to help me and guide me to the next level. Or it could be just a matter of confidence, and you're like, I don't know how to self brand myself, I don't know how to position myself. So these could be the different areas that people are like, how do I stand out, right? So it's quite interesting, Trumbo, because sometimes information is right at our fingertips and we just don't make use of it. Is that true, or is that true?
that's true. That's also true.
Sometimes you get to events and someone is like, oh, today I'm late. I want to have my cup of coffee. It's cold outside. I don't want to be outside. But that's where you get the opportunities, guys. So you need to launch on it. You need to
Mm.
grab opportunities. So as our poll is getting ready, please be thinking about the different challenges you have. And if there's some other unique challenges that I might have not mentioned, feel free to drop it in the chat box. Let's hear it. We want to hear you guys, what are the challenges that you're facing out there? So, Twaambo, right? I was actually going through different articles, and I was reading one with ALU, which is the 2025 African Workforce Survey report that they, and they had quite interesting insights, right? And these insights were like, for example, 88% of African school leavers, these we're talking in the context of the African continent, right? The students within our space here. 88% of African school leavers plan to pursue higher education and driven by passions and desires to contribute to the country's development. So that's quite warm, right? That's quite good. That okay, people actually want to pursue higher education, so people want to learn. Then we realized that 37% of the students intend to actually study outside of Africa, right? And less than half, so about 44% of high school graduates don't plan to stay in Africa after completing their higher education, which is raising a big concern about brain death within the continent, right? I'm like, okay, so we get to see that students want to learn, students want higher education, but we are realizing that a lot of people actually want to go abroad, go far, go away from their countries. But at the same time, I'm thinking, how do we balance it out as a continent? How do we make sure that the students who are pursuing higher education do also get them where they go abroad, but also to make sure that they're intentional to bring it back home and make the impact that we need as the African continent? What are your
Right.
thoughts around?
Um, as the African continent, I think there's a lot that we need to do. First things first, for my let me speak about my personal life, my personal opinion. If I was given an opportunity again to study um, in the diaspora, trust me,
Mhm.
I would study and then get back home and work
Okay.
from home, work back from my country. The reason is simple. I want to learn as much as I can. Even in my space where I am right now, let me learn as much as I can from from the diaspora, and let me go and implement what I'm learning from the diaspora. I want to implement what I'm learning back home. The reason is simple. First of all, I'm also just increasing my country, and I'm also contributing the economic um, lifestyle for my people and as well as everybody around. So one win for one Zambian or one Zimbabwean or one African, I think is a win for everybody else. So the
Right.
numbers that you mentioned that some people do not want to go back home after they learn. Again, I understand maybe because you know how it is back home. Perhaps you have to look up A, B, C, D. Maybe no, you're thinking there are no much opportunities, and then you're also thinking of I have to make my monies. Maybe that is why you want to work in the diaspora. But then the thing is, if you work in the diaspora, the question is, how are you benefiting your country?
Exactly.
That is a major question that you have to ask yourself. How are you benefiting your country? Because even if I live in the Europe, I mean in Europe, where I live in Malaysia or wherever, the fact still remains. I'm Zambian. I have to go back. They always say, I don't know, in Zimbabwe, in Zambia, there's what we call local is laka. The reason is simple is because we
Okay.
want to localize everything that we have. And then if there are any opportunities, you just want to take them back home and then try and see what opportunities you can create because you don't have to depend on maybe the government or maybe any PPP to find employment for you or the corporate world to do it. How about you doing the opposite? How about you creating that impact back home so that everybody else is able to benefit from you? Okay. And the impact can
Exactly.
be created like that. First of all, standing out isn't about being loud. I always
Right.
emphasize this. Okay, it's about being transparent. It's about consistency, commitment. How committed are you in doing whatever you're doing? How consistent are you in doing whatever you're doing? So you have to develop both the competency as well as the character for you to get that excellence that you want in the room, that integrity that will keep you there. So you have to make sure that whatever you are learning in the diaspora, take it back home and do it with integrity, with passion, with competence, with determination, And then, believe it or not, you will create the job opportunities for everybody around you. And then in so doing, the impact on the impact of your country is going up until you're literally also contributing to the economy of your country. So in terms of building relationships, global relationships, I mean, look at you and I, you are Zimbabwean, we meet in the diaspora here, and then in the end, we go back to the to our countries, and then we're going to make sure we're going to make use of those relationships. See how you're always supportive of my guiding stars. And my people back home are always saying, look, your relationship with Madam Tandy and with most of the speakers that are there is like you made for a long time. I said, these are global relationships that you are riding on. And this is all what we do. We will meet in the diaspora, but let's go back home and implement what we have to. So, yeah.
No, that totally makes sense. But I'm thinking as a student, they'll be like, but when you say the global stage, it sounds big, it sounds scary, it sounds like it's something that is not accessible. So let me see the kind of responses that we have. So I think we have about 50% that they say lack of mentorship. Okay, so a lot of people are saying one of the biggest challenges that they're facing in standing out in their profile is lack of mentorship. Okay, we've got about a 25% response to no access to global exposure. So I guess that's when that fear kicks in, right? And we have another 25 that's talking about unclear career direction. So far, I think we don't have people who are not confident because no one responded to the low confidence. So we've got quite a confident bunch of people listening to us today. But look at that, 50% of the responses are talking about lack of mentorship. That's quite interesting, and I love how you've spoken about your initiative called Guiding Stars. Perhaps maybe share a snippet of what Guiding Stars does, because it's exactly solving the challenge that most people are facing right now: lack of mentorship.
Right. I like the fact when I'm just reading the polls here, and then it's standing out to be the highest. 50% of the
Right.
people are saying it's lack of mentorship. So I think we are in the right track as Guidance does. So for Guidance does, first of all, we are a mentorship program academy in Zambia, and in the next couple of months or years, we want to extend to other countries as well, especially in the region, Zimbabwe, Namibia, Botswana. So those are untapped markets, and the fact that these polls are coming out like this really just justified what I was thinking. Most of them, especially in our countries where we're coming from, a lot of people need guidance. Okay, so if we are not there, the people that have gone in the paths, let us
Mhm.
come together and initiate those initiatives and try and see if we can mentor the young ones to come. Um, I'm a product of mentorship, and I think this is where I started my passion for mentoring the young ones. Somebody believed in me even before I believed in myself. I had no idea, I
Mhm.
was clueless on what I was about to do, or even when I was just starting my job as a marketing
Yeah.
executive, I didn't really well, it's not like I didn't like what I was doing, but because I lacked some sort of guidance. But then there were some people that had held me to say, you know what, Twaambo, we have seen potential in you, okay? So, but then
Exactly.
opportunities they are not universal, they are rare. And then if you find somebody who's going to believe in you, because most of the times what I've observed is what you just need is somebody to say, come on, Tandy, I think you can do this. Even then you start doubting yourself, am I really good? Can I really do this? But then somebody's like, you know what, you can do it. And if I can do it, it means you can do it as well. So we're just trying to bridge the gap between academia, because academia, most of it is just in class, and then they'll teach you 1 + 1 is equal to 2. Whether they teach you 1 + 1 is 5, so be it. But then in
Right.
terms of leadership, what will keep you is attitude. The other time, I think, was it 2 days ago, I had just posted something on my WhatsApp status while saying that I would rather employ somebody who has attitude than skill. Okay. The reason is
Okay.
simple. These are some of the things that we are teaching at mentorship program, especially at Guiding Stars. We are teaching those soft skills that you will not be able to learn in class. They'll teach you about emotional intelligence, about who is that guy, Goldman, is the one who talked a bit about emotional intelligence. But then those soft skills like communication skills, the professionalism, the growth mindset, the self-awareness, the emotional intelligence, the attitude itself, the character itself, the confidence itself. So those are some of the soft skills that we are trying to bridge that gap between academia and as well as practice, because we want you to be tough even when you get into the corporate, the practical world. There will not be that statistics or algebra to tell you to solve out that problem that is there. But then the problem solving issue, how are you going to tackle it? And then if there's anything, you know how office politics sometimes can be in this corporate world. How are you going to deal with that? So this is what we teach, and this is what we want our students to get. That it's a bit tough when you get into the practical. Tandy, I don't know whether you're there or I've lost you. I think we're having some technical glitch. Okay. I don't know whether you have muted your mic. I can barely hear you, Tendai.
Yes, I'm sorry, I had not. Yeah, she's back again. Yeah, the network seems to be acting up on your side, Tandy.
Right.
Glitches, apologies.
Okay, you can take over.
Okay. So I was just explaining on how we as guiding stars are also making sure that we are focused on the soft skills that the corporate space wants to see. They want to see your emotional intelligence. If you have to go all your way up, if you have to climb that ladder, you have to have that some sort of emotional intelligence. You have to have some sort of professionalism, self-awareness, confidence, personal branding, and all these small soft skills that you feel that you may not need, especially when you're in class. Because for you, all your concentration is, I just want to get away out of the algebra and pass my 1 + 1 is equal to 10. And that's it. As long as I have cleared my 50 + 1, I'm good. But in the practical world, it doesn't work that way. How it works,
No, it
you have to
doesn't.
know, right. You have to make sure that you are set apart. And how are you set apart? You have to have a USP where what does Tandy stand for? Okay, what is Twaambo's unique selling proposition? If they look at Twaambo, if they look at in the marketing space, or if they look at in the diplomatic space, who can they think of? If your name is on top of the top 5 that they are thinking of, then they know that at least you know that you're doing something right. And that is exactly what mentorship does to you, because we don't want these students to go through what the pain points that we went through. So we're trying to prepare them into the corporate space. As they are getting into the space, they already know what to do. Let me also be proud to say that from my cohort 1, I think we had about 23. And out of the 23, I think most of them, I think over 15 are already working, and they're in their spaces working. So, right. And in those spaces, yes, they are working. And then sometimes you keep on checking you keep on checking on them. And then they'll tell you, no, this is what I was doing. This is how I handled this situation. And I'm like, yeah, so the mentorship is actually working, because this is exactly what we are teaching them. And then this person will just come to know, Madam T, I just got promoted. No, Madam T, I got confirmed. I'm like, a reason why is because of the soft skills that we panel beat you during your mentorship program. So yeah.
No, I totally love that. I totally love that. And I think it also resonates with what we are doing at Connect as well. At Connect, we understand it can be quite an overwhelming journey. Honestly speaking, we've been there, right? We've been there. We've gotten to certain stages when we were also students, and it can get overwhelming to stand out in the midst of so many different people, nationalities, backgrounds, everyone in from a place, right? And you're thinking, how do I make sure that I'm standing out? So we at Connect as well want to make sure that we give you the right tools, we give you the right direction, and our platform is there to focus on giving students just that, to make sure that you are a right fit for wherever you want to be, tailor making content for you and test it out for the global opportunities, because there's so much opportunities out there, ladies and gentlemen. I promise you, it's just a matter of you observing. It's just a matter of you tapping into mentorship, just like what Twaambo is just talking about. And Guiding Stars is doing such a fantastic job. You're on cohort 3 now, right?
Yes, we're on cohort 3 right
Amazing. That's so we'll probably share your information later if people would want to follow your pages as well and see what happens at Guiding Stars. But I guess getting into that, you kind of picked up out different things about mindset. How do we strengthen our mindset? Because yes, opportunities can be there. Platforms like Guiding Stars are there for mentorship. But how do I move from point A to point B? How do I adjust the kind of mindset so that I can unlock my full potential? As a mentor of Guiding Stars and beyond, how have you actually seen and navigated that for the different mentees that you've had to unlock their full potential?
Okay, so in terms of unlocking the full potential, here's what we did. First things first, we made sure that you have to move from survival to strategy. Okay. What do I mean by that? I mean that in most cases, in most instances, what we do is you don't just aim to make it through, because most of the, when you start a program or when you start some initiative, you just want to aim to make it through. But then the bigger question or the bigger picture of it is you have to plan to make it big. There's a difference. So now trying to make it through is just survival. And then you're getting to strategy, which is now you have to plan to make it big. Okay. So the world owes us nothing. In most cases, we are so entitled. So in terms of entitlement, you don't need to be entitled. The world owes you nothing. It owes nobody nothing. So now you have
Correct.
to move from that entitlement to the effort. Okay. So the rewards will come through preparations, through determinations, through consistency. So you have to make sure that the rewards are coming through. Once they are coming through, you need to be prepared, you need to be consistent, and you need to be committed. And this is what I always tell even the students or the mentees of Guiding Stars, that you have to be prepared. You always have to show up. Guiding Stars will give you 50%, but the other 50% is entirely yours. Nobody is going to walk we will walk the journey with you, but we will not walk it for you. That is the
Mm,
difference.
I
Right.
like that.
So we will walk with you, we will escort you, we will move together, but nobody is going to literally walk it for you. That is entirely your journey. So you have to be prepared, you have to be consistent, you have to show up when you feel like you need to show up. And also another thing I think we'll be talking about from doing comparisons to clarity. Don't measure your journey with someone else's thing. Most of the times, not because Tandy is
Wow.
doing this, Tandy is the founder of Connect. What am I doing as Twaambo? And now I want to compare myself to Tandy. It doesn't work that way. So never ever measure your journey into someone's measure tape. If you have your own journey, you have to embrace yourself and also embrace feedback. Be teachable, be humble. Don't just applaud whatever it is that is happening. Growth thrives in correction. So in most cases, when somebody is correcting you, they know exactly what they're doing because perhaps they have walked into that path. And then
Mhm.
they just want to make sure that they want to make you comfortable. Okay. So basically, Guided Stars was born from this belief. Mentorship lights the path, but mindsets determine the pace.
That deserves a poster right there. I hope people are taking notes. These are nuggets for a lifetime, ladies and gentlemen. So please make sure that you are learning, you are taking it, and you are absorbing the information so that you can practice it out. So I think earlier on, when we were speaking a bit about what Connect does, right, and we mentioned we have different parts of the ecosystem, and ecosystems including the governments, the universities, the employers. So we also believe that institutions like ours play a critical role by supporting even the national goals in education, right, as well as youth development. So while we are preparing our students for the realities of the global economy, and right now, from where you sit, you're sitting in a governmental position as well as a diplomat, right? How do you
Mhm.
see institutions like ours, like Connect, complementing national effort in education, in youth empowerment? What can be a call to action for the students or even the government affiliates who might be listening to us today? What could you mention after that?
Okay. I like the fact that Connect is also filling up this critical gap, and I think this is where Connect and as well as Guided Stars is coming into play. we are filling that critical gap. And I'm glad that a lot of people are appreciating the efforts that are being done. And kudos to you, Connect. I've seen a lot of things coming up is in terms of how you're positioning yourself on LinkedIn, and I see you're coming up. I'm like, oh, those are my people. And so you are filling that critical gap, and I love the fact that you have risen to that challenge, and you have to make sure that whatever you're doing is literally just bridging some policies with practice, and this is the practical part of it that you're doing. You have all the ambition with the access that you can do whatever it takes. You are making sure that at least you're bringing all those community level engagements. So in terms
Exactly.
of the government systems, I can speak about how the embassy in Malaysia, the Zambian embassy, is also trying to make sure that we are connecting these two countries. Let's say, for instance, Zambia, we have the Zambia Institute of Marketing. Again, I'm going to give the same example. When we recently got here, I had to make sure that I needed to find the Institute of Marketing Malaysia for one reason. I knew that we have the counterpart, which is the Zambia Institute of Marketing back home. And then the question is, as the government, how are we going to assist? How are we going to connect these two to make sure that at least we are tapping into each other in terms of the exchange programs, in terms of learning, in terms of even research papers, or everything else that is coming into play. We had some couple of meetings here and there with the Institute of Marketing Malaysia. And as the embassy, this is the government efforts. We're trying to make sure that we are facilitating this. We are literally in the space to make sure that at least even the Zambia Institute of Marketing back home, they should leverage on these links. They need to learn as much as they can. Now, it won't just end at the Zambia Institute of Marketing. We do have some student chapters that it spills over to the students' chapters. So it's not just the Zambia Institute of Marketing. We do also have
Okay.
finance. We also have other disciplines as well. And as the embassy, the government efforts, we're trying as much as possible to make sure that we create these linkages as co-creators, such that Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, and the rest of the extra accreditation countries that we are looking for
Okay.
are also getting through to what the African continent wants. Not too long ago, we had one institution that had asked for some students, the African students, and then there was some sort of diplomatic meeting and forum, and
Okay.
they needed some African students. And of course, they will not go and look for these African students in these schools. What do? They have to go through the embassy. And this is where
Mm,
now the government comes into play. And then we're going to pick, okay, now again, it gets back to positioning. How have you positioned yourself? Are you known by the embassy? What exactly that you are doing? So
yeah.
positioning is very, very important. We need to know you. So wherever you are, wherever in the diaspora that you are in, please get connected to their embassies. We are nice people. We want to know our students. We want to know them. We want to embrace them. And then any opportunity that is given, any internship that is given, we will want to extend it to our students. And obviously, the first students that we're going to know is our Zambian students, our Zimbabwean students. And we're going to tell them, look, there are such opportunities here. There are times that internship, we have had instances where they will come to us and then they'll tell you, students will tell you, internship is hard to find in Malaysia. All right. But then also the thing is, there are these organizations that come through to the embassy, and that is the only place that they will go to say, we are looking for interns and we don't have any. Where can we find them? And now it is our job to make sure that we connect our students to these organizations, and then they're going to have that internship. So these are some of the government efforts that we're trying to make together so that we can at least assist our African students in the diaspora to make it big in some of these diaspora organizations. If you do well in Malaysia or in Europe or wherever it is, I've had couple of friends that are working in Europe, even here in Malaysia. I know some of the students. Ola is one of them. And he's
Yes.
here. He came in as a student, but he's working full time now. He's actually even a business development manager. He has such a
Wow.
position. And because of such positioning yourself, how do you position yourself? You need to know your purpose. You need to know your why. Do you know whether there's a Zambian embassy or Zimbabwe? If you're a Zimbabwean, do you know the Zimbabwean embassy? What have you
Okay.
done there? Have you even volunteered to go there such that even the people there, they know to say, okay, Tandy is there. So if they have anything, the first person that they're going to call will be this person. So that is some of the efforts that government is also trying as much as possible. to appreciate and also just connect some of these organizations, especially in the diaspora.
Spot on, spot on. Ladies and gentlemen, this is building a winning profile. You're getting all the nuggets, all the good nuggets that you might not get elsewhere. So I hope you are listening, your friend is listening. Do share this video even after the live chat so that we can always continue to revise where we're missing the mark, where we need to help ourselves polish that profile so that we stand out. Like you're hearing for yourselves, guys. Twaambo is saying that the government is ready, institutions are ready, embassies are ready to help us. So don't be like, we're not gonna get opportunities from, but they want you to. They want you to get these opportunities and they're accessible. That's the point. They are accessible for all of you. And at Connect, we are linking all our ecosystems, students, governments, employers.
Mm.
You are all part of the ecosystem that we're building. But as we're also getting towards the end of our live chat, we also want to make sure that people get to understand the kind of strengths that they have, all the career paths. And there's something called an aptitude test. I'm sure you've heard about it, Twaambo, and maybe people who are listening and on this call have heard about it. And we want to actually take a quick poll. So we'll get a poll into the chat, one more poll for today. And we want to actually have a know-how if people are interested in taking an aptitude test. So basically, this test is a powerful tool that helps you to discover your natural strengths, your interests, your cognitive preferences. So at Connect, we are trying to use this information to make sure that we create customized educational and career paths. So we cannot know if you do not share with us, we do not know the plan that you have. So it simply gives you clarity. It simply gives you confidence and a direction as you take it to your next step. So you're going to see the poll in the chat. And I just want you to answer if it's something that you'd be interested in taking. Is it a yes? Kindly bring it on. I need help. I need to know what I'm doing with my life, what strengths I have, or maybe something that you want to get to know more. That's still fine. And if you say, no, I've done this before, or I was born ready for
Mm.
for for Matt, like Tom, right? Born ready for the big positions, and you already know your strengths. So just give us a quick response right there, so that we make sure we know what career suits you, what path to take. We are here to help you, ladies and gentlemen. We are here to take you to that next level. So, Twaambo, I'm excited for this generation. I'm glad that people are joining in our live session because it just shows how people are hungry. People want to know.
Yeah.
People need mentorship. People just want to make the right decisions because we are in an era where it's an advantage and disadvantage of all the information we have out there. Back then careers were just so simple, right? I think when you hear the stories of our parents and grandparents, they were like, you're a nurse, you're a doctor, like it was simple. But now, there's so many positions, so many jobs, which is great, but it can also cause confusion. Have you been seeing that or hearing that from the different students that you mentor?
Mm. Yeah, I have. I've been hearing a lot of it. Right now, things are turning, and the only thing that we can do is move with the trend. So the trend is moving, and you also have to move with it. Okay, those days are long gone, and we cannot always rely. I always give an example of a Nokia phone. We had that 1600 or the 3310 that we had. Remember those days? I don't know whether you
Yeah,
were born, but all right.
but
So,
yes,
but
yes.
now, what's happening now? We have the iOS, we have iPhone 15, 16. I don't know, I've even lost track. We have the Samsung up to S24 or whatever it is. So, as the time is moving, as the world is moving, as the trains are moving, so we should wait. We need to move. We need to move from that past of, I just want to be a nurse, that's it. I just want to be a teacher, and that's it. Right now, we are living in the digital era. That is even worse. Our kids right now even know more than us. There are times that I can't even operate my phone, and I have to call a 5-year-old, my 7-year-old son, and I'm like, Louis,
True,
please
true.
try to do something for me. And then he will be able to do pa, 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 and then he's done just like that. But then you wonder, I was like, oh, okay, this is my phone, and I didn't even know. But the generation that is coming also is living in the digital era. And then things are
Yeah.
changing on a daily basis. Right now, if I say I have to do marketing, the first question is which marketing, the traditional marketing or the digital marketing? So now it's like you have to really make sure that you break it down for you to understand whether you are in the traditional marketing setup or you are in the digital marketing, or if you are to do whatever discipline or career that you want to do. They'll ask you a couple of questions. It's like the simple example of trying to get water. You get into a shop and then you ask, I want water. Then the first question is sparkling water or still water. Already, okay, fine, still water. Room temperature, cold. Like water is water, guys. Just give me water
Just
and then give me
what
that. So things are changing, and we have to move with the times that things are changing. And so should we as human beings. Yeah.
I know. I think that's really true. So we need to move with the trends. So we
Yeah.
have an overwhelming response of the yeses. We have 100% response of people who actually want and are interested in taking the aptitude test. So here's what I'll do, ladies and gentlemen. I will let you scan this code if you can see the screen right now. I want you to scan this code and join our WhatsApp community so that we can further help you out on where and how we can do the aptitude test. And if there are any other questions, even after the chat, please just use this code. We'll also share our details over the chat where you can find us on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook as well. But for now, I'll just leave this here as we also allow the session for question and answers. If there are people who are listening right now or who are live with us and want to ask maybe a particular question to Madam Twaambo in terms of building a winning profile or anything that we have discussed within the session, please quickly put it in the chat box. We will see it and we will call it out so that we can get a response from our speaker. But for now, please use this QR code, scan it so that we can add you to our WhatsApp community. And we want to help you. I think everyone deserves to know what their strengths are. Everyone deserves to know what kind of paths. We don't want to keep falling into traps that maybe our mentors have fallen into or repeated. Let's actually use the tools that are available for us to get confidence, to get clarity, and we make life decisions that are a bit more accurate. So let me quickly check if we have any questions so far. But Madam Tambo, we are so grateful for the time that you're spending with us. It's always an insight for me. I'm telling you, writing down all the notes, and I'm excited to even share with my friends what you have taught us today. It's an amazing opportunity. We applaud you. We thank you. We
Thank
thank you.
thank you, Tandy, for the invitation. It's always a pleasure to come. And,
We have some love the statement right there. It says, standing out is not about being loud. Standing out is not about being loud. That's profound, right? Integrity and passion. That is the way. That is the way. Okay, so we have a question for you, Madam Tambo, right here. It goes, is it okay to branch off from what you studied in university and do something else? What should you advise right there?
it's perfectly okay. The first thing that I'm going to say is, where does your passion lie? I think that's the first thing. If you love what you do, believe it or not, it's not a joke. I tell people that if you really love what you do, trust me, you will do it effortlessly. You will not even know that you're working. So it's very much okay. For instance, maybe you started out as a nurse. I will give a practical example of one of my mentors, Mizinga Melu. Mizinga Melu was a nurse. She started out as a nurse, but she didn't like what she did, and then she went into banking, and now she's the CEO of ABSA. And that she loves what she does. So she had to branch off. And so it's the same thing. I know a lot of people that have branched off, provided you know your why, your purpose exactly. You need to define it. That's a clear goal. Secondly, where does your passion lie? So if you identify where your passion lies, trust me, you may start off as a lawyer or a marketer, and then you realize later on to say, I think being a chef is way better because it's giving me more availability and also more passion. I'm loving what I'm doing. Why not? go for what you love to do instead of just making it feel. Because if you want to stick to exactly what you're doing and then you don't like it, of what benefit are you doing? You're
Mhm.
just causing more harm to yourself. So passion, also
Right.
purpose, understand your why, and know your passion. Find out exactly where your passion lies, and it's very much okay to branch off. There's really no harm.
There you go. I hope that answers you, Kapinda. I think that's quite valid. Passion. I know sometimes we're like, okay, we just need to get money. I'm just going to do this
Mm,
job because the high
mhm,
paying kind. But at the end of the day, are you creating value? Are you actually doing yourself any good at the end of the day? So keep the questions coming. Keep the questions coming. uh, it's amazing to see how people are interested in even in diverting to different careers, and I think the opportunities are vast. The opportunities are vast. So please make sure that you do what needs to be done in the industry. We need people who create value. That's the only way our
mm.
countries can upgrade. That's the only way this continent, especially the African continent, we need to make sure that we're giving what the continent needs, maximizing on the opportunities that are there, like we said, on the global stage, but also bringing it back home. Right. Any questions? Keep them coming, ladies and gentlemen. This is quite an exciting opportunity. You don't get to talk to a Zambian diplomat every day, do you? This is opportunity to shine, to say hello, hi, madam. How do I get to your sit on your seat, right? So is there anything that while we're waiting for questions, anything that we're looking forward to hearing from Guiding Stars? Any areas that you're also going to be tackling, not just for students, but maybe even for the career ready individuals, just like how we are doing at Connect?
Okay, so there's a couple of initiatives that we have recently adopted. So for us, it's more of a movement, and we are training the trainers. We are just not getting that 3 months program here. Tandy, you come in, you register yourself as a mentee, then after 3 months off you go. But we also have a pool of alumni, and then they do have some initiatives. We have started off with the book clubs where every month there's a book that people are reading out there, and then they also do some book review for that, just enhancing on their knowledge, on their understanding. And then we also have some webinars. We do have different speakers coming on board and having these and speaking to these alumni. So there's so many other initiatives that are being born out of just after the 3 months into getting into the alumni section. And then also we have a couple of the CSR, the corporate social responsibility, where we are also mentoring. We get into these Catholic spaces. And then we just offer some mentorship talks, career talks to them and say, as guidance stars, this is what you need. And this is exactly what came through on the post when they're saying lack of mentorship. So as guidance stars, we have taken it upon ourselves to get through outside the box and then get into these spaces. And if there are any spaces that we can get through, and then also just teach them about mentorship, about career talks, give them some career talks. So as guidance stars, we are quite busy, and this is the part where everybody now, even including, we also have some supervisors, alumni leads that are spearheading some of these projects. So we are growing, and there's a lot that is happening under guidance stars. And believe it or not, in the next couple of years, in the next 5 years, I think we need to roll out to other region countries as well, such as Zimbabwe and the rest of the.
Yeah, we're excited for that. That's amazing. So, ladies and gentlemen, you got that. I'll leave this chat with the few more minutes with any other questions. If there's any burning questions, this is your chance. And if you have not scanned the QR code that's on your screen right now, this is your chance. Once again, guys, the aptitude test is not just for students, mind you. This can be even people who are in their mid career. Trust me, you constantly, because we change, right? We are also evolving. Like you're saying, we're living in a fast-paced world. So it also shows that your interests can change, your strengths can change. So an aptitude test is not just for students, it's also for people who are professionals in their mid-career. So this is your chance. Scan the code, join our community so that we can help you. Therefore, Oh, this has been an exciting time. Where can people find you, Twaambo? What social handles can they get you on, and with what name?
So is it my personal or guiding stars that I'll speak about? I can speak about
You
guiding
can
stars more.
go.
I'll speak about guiding stars. So if you just go on your social media platforms, which is Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, I hope my corporate communications person is in. Lisa, if you're not in, I have a task for you. So we are on. We also have a WhatsApp channel. We have Facebook, which is Guided Stars ZM. LinkedIn as well, Guided Stars ZM. Instagram as well, Guided Stars ZM, as well as our WhatsApp channels. So if you just click on that, and then you will be able to find us where we share a lot of information. And when the cohorts are starting, when we have applications of cohorts and any other necessary information that we share on our social media platforms. And also we have a dedicated corporate communications coordinator. Her name is Lisa, doing an amazing job. I'm hoping she's here so that she's, yeah, so she's also online so that she's able to take all the information, give her calls, and she will be able to get back to everybody out
Yes,
there.
that sounds good. And for us, ladies and gentlemen, you will find us on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. Connect EduTech, as well as the WhatsApp community that you're seeing on your screen right now. So here's your last chance again. Scan the code, join the community, and let's keep moving. So, Twaambo, thank you so much for your insights, passion, and commitment to the continent's future. This conversation has been both inspiring and grounding. And to everyone who has joined us today, thank you so much. At Connect, we believe your journey is not yours to define. Your journey is yours to define. Apologies on that. It's yours to define, but you do not have to walk this journey alone. We are here to help you walk the journey, whether you're standing out or you're starting out in the early stages of your career or you're in your mid careers. We are here to help you building with your tools, building us with the communities and opportunities to support by all means. So let's keep the momentum going, ladies and gentlemen. Follow our pages, share your reflections even after this chat, and we will see you on the next Connect series. Stay tuned and have a great day. Thank you so much, Madam Twaambo. You have a great
Thank
day.
you. Thank you so much for having me. And just the fact that you were passionate about my time, the time difference. I'm grateful for that. At least 6 p.m.
Thank you.
is good time for me. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
No, you're most welcome. We'll see you soon in Kuala Lumpur. Cheers.
See you soon.